Hey there, welcome back to our 5th ever monthly channel analytics review. We're going to be doing July 2017. I've got 3 questions for you for the community that I want to have your responses to because I do take your feedback seriously in terms of figuring out what are we going to do next on Gray Hair Gaming. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll get into those questions in just a second. I just want to give you an overview. This is lifetime stats here. So since July 11th, that's when we got our start. Today is August 12th. So essentially, we're going to do a snapshot through the end of July rather than, into August, because we'll save that for August, obviously. But quite a nice little spike here in watch time and in views. This comes back to the power of sharing content that you like on social media, particularly Facebook. Massive response from Facebook in July. I know I had at least 1 or 2 people go in there. There's like some Danish FM17 or Football Manager groups, and they shared my content, and it was massive. We got a huge spike in subscribers with that, views, watch time. It's absolutely nutty. So this is just lifetime. I want to point out 11,515 views lifetime. What that means, that's critically important for the channel in one way, but I'm not sure if I'm going to utilize it. We'll talk about that here in a second. But 83,000 minutes of watch time is bananas. 186 subscribers. We started July with 130, so we added 56. Crazy growth. We got 1,200, almost 1,300 likes, 549 comments. You guys have been fantastic. So just want to give you that overall snapshot. Let's jump into July. So you'll see 5,269 views. Again, it's going back. This is a 31-day month, so it's comparing 31 days back. So we get the last day of May, whatever. It's still 122% here. I'll show you. I've got a spreadsheet with all the stats, just like I did the last time. We'll take a look at it. But 5,269 views is absolutely crazy. 38,000, almost 39,000 minutes. View durations up to 7 minutes, 22 seconds. It says 56 subscribers is down, because I think we added 58 in June. I'm like, 56 is a lot, crazy times. Lots of good stuff happening here, but I want to talk to you about the views. So again, 5,269 views. We jumped up to a total of 11,515. Why is that important on YouTube? Well, YouTube earlier this year, after I started my channel, rolled out a change in their AdSense, their ad viewing monetization of a channel guidelines. So essentially they wanted to make sure you weren't a one-hit wonder, right? Or you weren't going to have 3 videos and they get 10 views and they're trying to monetize those. So they put in a new requirement where you had to have 10,000 views in order to run ads on your channel and on your videos and all that kind of stuff. So we've crossed that threshold because right now, the last 7 months that we've been doing this, I haven't made a single penny from YouTube. And I've told you guys in that video, if you haven't watched it, the one that's titled, Please Watch This, I Don't Know What to Call It, where I kind of got a little mushy with you because someone shared my content online and it blew up the channel and I got a little emotional about it. I've been staying up till 12:30, 1:30 in the morning, editing videos, recording videos, processing them overnight, getting them uploaded for you guys. A lot of work. And it's because I like it, but obviously long term, I would like to make some sort of money from this. It's a hobby, but if I'm going to spend, 4 hours a day on the hobby, eventually it's got to turn into something, right? So we've kind of crossed that threshold where I could start putting ads on my content. The only problem is I don't really like ads. So if I'm watching a content creator that I like, that they run ads, I'm not going to skip the ad because it's going to support them. It gives them a little bit of income. But it's when you really think about in comparison, if you don't know anything about ad rates on YouTube, this is a massive generalization. But in general, for every 1,000 views you get, you make between $1 and $5. So for every 1,000 ad impressions. So you could run, let's say 2 ads on a video that got 500 views, and that would be 1,000, right? But you're still only making $1 to $5. So if we hop into July, let's say it was a whopping $5 per 1,000 ad impressions, and I ran 1 ad on every view that I got, I'd make $25. And it's I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth to have. And again, I think that'd be high. I think it'd be more like $2 or $1. So let's say it's $10. Is it worth making 5,000 people sit through, or 5,000 views worth of people sit through ads to make $10. I don't know. I kind of struggle with that. So my first question for you that I wanted to ask you is, how do you prefer to support channels that you like? So do you like watching ads? Because it could just be me, right? It could just be my opinion. And you guys like, hey, I'll watch an ad, right? I'll turn my ad blocker off. Cool. And if that's true, cool. What other ways do you like supporting channels? Do you use Patreon? Do you buy merchandise and all that kind of stuff? We're not nearly big enough to do that kind of stuff. Like, Patreon, if you don't know what it is essentially you pledge a certain amount each month to a content creator. It can be done monthly. It can be done like per video, like for songwriters, for every song they put out, something like that. But I think what I've seen in the Football Manager community is like, hey, I'll give you $1 a month, or I'll give you $5 a month, or whatever. I know people make money on Twitch doing donations, stuff like that. Twitch doesn't really necessarily work for me right now because I got 2 kids, and like, if you really want to do well on Twitch, in my opinion, you kind of have to have a schedule. I have thought about doing kind of like special events where like we do a stream and it's announced well in advance to where people could actually show up, because then obviously you don't have people watching because you're not consistent. So you kind of have to make it an event where people show up, so you can take donations that way. So I've kind of rambled, but I wanted to get your thoughts because I don't want to do stuff that annoys you guys. Like, I haven't turned ads on right now, even though we crossed the threshold, because I wanted to get feedback from my community as to what it is you do to support a channel, right? Or you're just like, I don't support channels. And that may be, that's your thing, right? Like, that's totally cool. I watch ads because I don't want to give up income every month to somebody. But that's just me. Like, maybe you're like, hey, I only watch 3 YouTubers and, hey man, you're one of them. I'll give you $1 a month. Or, like, I just want to get some feedback on that. So that's my first question for you. My second question for you is about what we do after Football Manager 2017. Because right now it's August, and Football Manager 17 searches are going to start doing this. Okay, I did it right with the camera. I'm excited because you have to reverse. Yeah. Anyway, Football Manager is going to start doing this, right? It already kind of has. And then eventually Football Manager 2018 is going to kick in. You're going to have your betas where it's like they put out the game and like fix bugs and stuff like that. So you'll have betas saves come up, and then like your full-fledged saves. So one of the things I'm kind of struggling with is, what kind of save or saves do I want to do with Football Manager 2018? Obviously, Dominating Denmark has blown up this channel. We have a massive following of people from Denmark. I mean, if we just look here, we're looking in July, and we look at demographics, and we go to geography, right? 62% of my viewers are from Denmark in July, because we had that huge spike and lots of people came and they subscribed and all that kind of stuff, which is awesome. Like, please stay, I love you. But my fear is, if I do a save in Football Manager 2018 that isn't in Denmark, will those people disappear? Or will you stick around? I've thought about doing a journeyman save of some kind. I know lots of people did journeyman saves in FM17. I started it because I didn't really know European football very well, right? So it really helped me to like start off in Sterling in the Scottish League 2, and then go to Honingsanka Honice in the Polish, was it first division, and then somehow get the job in the Bundesliga. So like, I felt like I learned a lot personally about European football, because then like you're scouting everybody and all that kind of stuff, right? So I've thought about doing something like that, but I don't want to lose anybody. I thought about doing a journeyman save just in Denmark, to where like you start out unemployed, you hope a club signs you, and work your way up, but like you can bounce around, but only in Denmark. I think that might be a little challenging from a job availability standpoint, but who knows, right? Like, it might be interesting to find out. So I've thought about doing that, but I wanted to get your thoughts there from everybody, but especially if you're one of my Danish viewers. Are you going to stick around if I'm not doing BK Frem, right? Because I don't really think that I can finish an FM17 save with BK Frem and then jump back into an FM18 save with BK Frem. I think that's going to be a little redundant. So I just want to know what you want to see. Let me know in the comments. All right. Third question, before we get into the stats, is I'm thinking of ideas about how to make this more of an actual community. So we've got the comments, and that's cool, right? Like, we've had tons of comments. We have, like, I'd say 10 to 25 people, depending on the week, that consistently comment on the channel. And we have like some discussions in the channel. They're telling me how to pronounce things in Danish, and I probably still butcher them when we get to the video, but you know, they're helping, and I really appreciate it, because I'm like, there was one, oh, let's just look at it. Someone told me how to say, it looks like Randers FC, and it's apparently Rarners, and I'm like, why is there a D? But okay, that's how it's said. Cool. But like, those things really, that's not what I meant. Those things really help, right? Right here, the Joking Jester, Rarners. I was like, Rarners? I just want to make sure it's right. So we've had all kinds of fantastic comments, but I want to kind of take it to like the next level. So how do we do that? How do we go about growing this community? So I've got 2 ideas that I want to run by you and just get your thoughts. So there's a thing called discord.gg, which is essentially a giant like chat room for a channel, is the best way I can kind of summarize it. You can look at it. It's Discord, discord.gg. And you can set up essentially a channel with like different rooms to talk about different things. It could be like save ideas. It could be, you know, who should I sign? Like, we could have a whole thing for that. But I wanted to see if that's something, 1, have you done that before? 2, would you participate? I just want to get some thoughts there, because I've seen a couple people do that, and that's a way to kind of start growing a community outside of just the comments on the channel, right? The other idea I had was setting up a website and putting out some sort of a newsletter, like an email newsletter, which is like, at this point, it sounds weird. It's like, it's old school, right? Like, to put out an email newsletter. But email is on pretty much everybody's phones. So you can get to it, and I could announce like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing, or this is what's coming this month, or like sneak peek or previews or like cool things like that. So would you sign up for an email newsletter? All right, so let's review the 3 questions before we get into the stats. 1, how do you like to support channels from a monetization standpoint? Again, I told myself when I started this YouTube thing, I was going to give it a full year and just see how big of a community we could get to. Right now, again, it's August 12th. We're sitting at 213 subscribers. I think that's pretty good growth, because I haven't done, like, none of my videos have like gone viral, right? Where it's like you're getting 10,000 views on a video. So I think 213 subscribers from organic growth, where like people are sharing, is pretty healthy. I mean, if we could get to 500 by like January, would be just mind-blowing. I think that's a little aggressive of a goal, but hey, you guys could help with that, right? So anyway, going back to the question, how do you like to support a channel from a monetization standpoint? Do you watch ads? Do you hate ads? Do you do Patreon? Do you do Twitch donations? Like, what's your favored method of supporting channels of people who are putting out content for free for you? Just curious on that. My second question for you was, what do we do after FM17? What do we do? Do we stay in Denmark? Do we do a different save? Do we do a journeyman? What are you interested in? If you're Danish, would you stick around to watch a non-Danish save? I need to know these types of things so I can put out content that goes with my audience, right? So would love to know that. And obviously, other types of stuff, right? You guys told me earlier in the year you wanted to see some Motorsport Manager, so I started doing that. Someone recommended This War of Mine. I've got it purchased. I bought it during the Steam summer 2017 sale, so I'm going to get that going at some point, once I get one of these saves wrapped up, because I can only juggle so much. I'm playing Darkest Dungeon. I almost said Darkest Denmark. Not the same. Darkest Dungeon. So we got some different things going on. What else do you want to see? I'm really enjoying the Motorsport Manager, because it's something that I can just kind of hop in and record a video and, edit out practice and qualifying and go. Fun game. But again, I want to know what kind of content you want to see, particularly in FM 18, but obviously outside that as well. My third question was, would you sign up for a Discord? Would you participate in that type of thing? And would you sign up for an email newsletter? Okay, thank you so much for your comments and your suggestions. You guys have been fantastic. And gals, I know we've got some of those. You guys and gals have been fantastic. I keep saying that. Guys is like a thing that I say. I apologize. All right, let's hop into the stats. And I just want to show you the absolute critical importance of sharing content. So let's look at this. Giant 2 spikes. Okay. Let's look at traffic sources. And let's go external. So External means you weren't on YouTube when you clicked to get to the video. That's all that means, right? Because if you were already on YouTube, even if so let's say you were on Twitter and you clicked on a link that I posted on Twitter and you watched a video, and then you subscribed and you came back the next day and you watched another video, those would be two different things, right? The first one is an external click into YouTube, and that counts external, and then the ones after that would count as subscribers and on your channel page and all that kind of stuff. So just looking at external clicks, 1,574 minutes, which again in 30 almost 9,000 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but this is kind of the entry point where people came into the channel. And then I know we had a bunch of people subscribe and then watch all of Dominating Denmark, which is just unbelievable. But that's the idea, right? Someone shares the intro video, that's oh, cool. And then they watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 20, whatever it is, right? It's 29 right now, which is crazy. So look at this giant purple thing here. That's Facebook. So 50% of the 428 external views, so almost exactly, actually more than 50%, right? 50% of the views came from someone sharing on Facebook. Now, the average view duration wasn't great, but I definitely saw a huge spike in minutes watched and in views because of the shares on Facebook. Now, don't get me wrong. Daily, you can see on here, it's kind of tiny on my screen. I don't know what it looks like when I'm recording here. Bold.dk and dailyrush.dk also came in there, right? 34 minutes and an hour and 15 minutes. So again, but Facebook, on this other big spike was 26 minutes. That's huge, guys. That is a massive deal, because let's see, can I look at, I can't do the subscribers. Come on. Let's look at watch time then. See, again, you got a big spike here. This is the first Facebook, and this is Bold DK and Facebook maybe getting shared. And then look at subscribers gained, right? It goes hand in hand, and that's massive. I think I had not added 10 subscribers all year. I think the highest I had was 7, and so this day was 7 matched, and this day was 6 was good, and this day was 6 was good. This week or so period was a massive boost to the channel from a watch time, from a views, from a subscribers gained standpoint. It's just crazy. You could see we're kind of cruising along, getting 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 3, kind of averaging 1 or 2 subscribers a day, and then it takes off, and it hasn't gone back down to 0 since then. So I just want to reiterate the absolute critical importance. If you like my content, it's coming to you for free. If you could share it with other people that or you're in groups with that like Football Manager content or Motorsport Manager content or Darkest Dungeon content or whatever, it really helps. It's massively important. So let's take a look at some of the structure. So this is July, and I like to break it down on a per day basis, which is this section down here, because June's got 30 days, May's got 31, February's got 28. So I think it gives you a more consistent snapshot from a percentile standpoint. So essentially, June, we went from 78 views a day to 170 in July. That's almost 100 more a day. Crazy. Just think about that. 100 more a day is 3,000 views extra in a month. That's crazy talk, right? Watch time more than doubled, 131%, from 541 to 1253. Likes went from almost 11 to 15.5. Comments went from 5.2 to 6.06. Would like to see a little bit more comments, but that's cool if you don't comment. I'm not judging. It's at least smash a like on it, right? Because I don't know if you guys know this, when you comment and share the content on YouTube, and especially if you go on to watch the next episode of a save or something like that, what you're telling YouTube's algorithm is this is what I was looking for. It was good. I liked it. Other people should watch it. And the algorithm starts to detect oh, people are they're searching for whatever it was. It could be FM17 Denmark, and they're clicking on this video, and that's the video they want to see. They're not clicking it and leaving in 3 seconds, because that's telling the algorithm, yep, that's not the video we want, right? And it would hurt the rankings. So you guys are coming in and watching it and then liking and commenting and sharing. What that does is it's a giant like arrow pointing at my channel for YouTube, like, hey, yep, this is the guy, you should come watch him. And that really helps out the channel. So thank you so much for doing that. And obviously it looks, 1.9 versus 1.81 subs added. I'm really more concerned with these numbers here, 57 and 56. That's okay. Not too jammed up about that. And you can see, obviously, this is the views. It's like kind of cruising along. And then June, when we started dominating Denmark towards the end of the month, big spike. And then July, massive spike. So we're on track currently to like be up here in this range, maybe a little bit higher on my imaginary chart for August right here. That's crazy. You can see the likes here, the comments, and the subs added, watch time. It's just, guys, it's just crazy growth, right? And the cool thing is, you're not only viewing the videos, but like you're watching for a good amount of time, right? So it's 7 minutes and 22 seconds versus last month, or versus June was 6 minutes, 55 seconds. Average percentage views up to 35%. I think for Football Manager video, when I have, generally speaking, 2 live comms, some people don't like live comms. So maybe that's a question you can answer. Like, do you like live comms, or what else do you want to see when I'm going through an episode, right? We had some people recently say, hey, I want to see what's going on in like the Danish national team and the Superliga. Like, give me a snapshot of what's going on in the world. And so I did that in the last episode. So episode 29's got that in there if you were looking for it. What else do you want to see? Subscribers are carrying their weight, right? 41%. You're watching 41% of the time, or of each video. So what that's done, I think right now in August, thus far, again, my analytics is 11 days in, is like the average view duration is like over 9 minutes, which is, obviously that's the highest it's ever been, and that's fan-freaking-tastic. So let's take a look here just to kind of show you. These are the latest videos that have come out on the channel. And I've tried to be pretty consistent, right? So usually I'm pairing up, Dominating Denmark comes out at 12 o'clock on the day it comes out, and Motorsport Manager comes out at 1 o'clock. These times are Eastern. Obviously, that's like, 5 o'clock UK, 6 o'clock Denmark, and then 6 and 7 UK and Denmark. And then I'm pairing up From Backpack to Boss and Darkest Dungeon on the other day. So it's like generally every other day. So today, this video is going to take the place of a From Backpack to Boss. To be honest, I'm a little behind, and I got a date night with my wife, so I'm gonna be a little bit behind on the videos. But we should have Dominating Denmark ready to go for tomorrow, and obviously Motorsport Manager will be there because I kind of recorded that in advance. But if you just look at the views, right? Motorsport Manager, 10 views, 61 for Dominating Denmark, 5 views Darkest Dungeon. I've thought about not doing Darkest Dungeon, but I like the game, so I think I'm gonna go for at least a little bit longer. If you haven't watched it, I'd love if you could just hop into the next episode or this episode and just kind of give me your thoughts. For Backpack the Boss, 26 views, 15 views, 111 views. So Dominating Denmark is carrying the weight right now for the channel. I got my rant down here, up to 47 views, quite nice. But that's what's going on there. But again, I took a screenshot on my phone, because you can get your analytics on your phone, on somewhere in here, right, where we had this big spike of 459, 545, 354 views. Because like, if you go to your real-time analytics, it'll show you a snapshot over the last 48 hours, like what your view time looks like, right? Or not view time, but number of views. And before that happened in July, it was like 200. Like, we were getting like maybe 100 views total on all videos on the channel in a given day. And then it was like, 150 a day, which this number would then be 250 because it's a 48-hour snapshot. And then I turned around and it was like, okay, it was 400. And then it was 500. And then it was 600. And then it was 700. And I was like, because it doesn't tell you, like in the real-time analytics, where those views are coming from. You just know you're getting a lot. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. And I could see down here, I could see what was getting popular, which was the Dominating Denmark intro video, like episode 1 and stuff like that. And like, it peaked at 1100. I took literally like 20 screenshots because it felt like every time I hit refresh on the application, it was a higher number. And I was just like, I'm just going to keep doing this until it starts going down. And it peaked at 1100 views. That is just, guys, it's just, you can't, when you've been cruising at like 200 views over 48 hours and you spike to 1100, it's like my heart was racing. So that was cool. It has fallen off a little bit. We had been averaging like 550 to 560 for like a week or so, and it's fallen down a little bit. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe some of those people that originally came in to Dominating Denmark have kind of fallen off a little bit. But But again, 420 views in 48 hours is still quite nice for the channel, because that's like 210 a day. And that's over 6,000 views. So again, if we go back to our overview, that would be growth. Now that wouldn't be huge. Like 100% growth here would be 10,000 views, and I'm not exactly expecting that unless you guys just go absolutely crazy with sharing my channel on like everything everywhere, and like fly a plane over a Premier League game that says like, go watch Gray Hair Gaming. You know, I don't think you're gonna do that. But if you just keep coming back and you'll share this once or twice in the next month on your Facebook channel, on your Facebook groups or whatever you're in, I think we could do some really cool things. So I think I'm going to cut this short here. I've kind of rambled on. This has actually gone longer than I thought it was going to go. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. Please make sure you keep coming back. Answer the 3 questions I asked you a couple times in this video. I apologize for my rambling. There'll be another video coming out. It should be Darkest Dungeon coming out at 1 o'clock today, so an hour after this video. Thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to see what August ends up looking like, in September and into the future. So like, subscribe, share, blah, blah, blah. We'll see you then. Thanks.